Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Call this meeting of the Fraser Planning Commission for October 5th, 2022 to order at 7:02 p.m. If you join me in standing and starting our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to ask everybody to make sure your microphone is on.
Okay, thanks. Now we'll start with roll call. Alicia, you want to do that?
Commissioner Barr?
Here.
Commissioner Zarnicki?
Here.
Commissioner Farina?
Here.
Commissioner Kyle?
Here.
Commissioner Meyer?
Here.
Commissioner Perry?
Here.
Commissioner Warnick?
Here. Thank you. Now we'll begin with roll call. Oh, we did that, didn't we? Okay. I guess I'm trying to push.
Agenda approval.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start with the approval of the agenda. If there's any discussion or comments. Mr. Farina?
To facilitate this gentleman that's here from Juan Blanco's, can we move that up in front of the public hearing since nobody's here to represent that at this point in time?
Anybody else, any comments? Do we need to make a motion on that? Okay, so you're making a motion to do that. Any support?
I'll support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No nays? Okay. We'll move that up to our first site plan, and other reviews. So public hearings, I don't see anybody else in the audience here for that, so we can pass that up. But let's start with the opening remarks. Tonight's meeting will follow the agenda that was posted online, except for what we changed here and has been printed for you. Before we begin, it's important to let everyone know that the Planning Commission is created by state law. The commission is comprised of 7 members, all of whom have volunteered to serve. Members are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by City Council. The role of the Planning Commission is to plan and promote the efficient, coordinated development of the city for the health, safety, and general welfare of its residents. We are not here to negotiate with applicants or allow everything an applicant is requesting. However, the Planning Commission does have the power to approve certain requests and recommend others, depending on the nature of the request and whether all of the standards in the zoning ordinance have been met. The Planning Commission may also impose conditions on a proposed project in order to ensure that those standards are met. Other individuals here with us this evening are representatives from the legal firm of O'Reilly Rancilio, P.C., and representatives from McKenna and Associates, the city's planners. Procedure followed by the Planning Commission for public hearings first involves the city planner providing an overview of each case, and after that overview is completed, the petitioner will be asked to provide additional information and answer any questions the commission members may have. After the commission's questions, the public will be invited to speak. Each person will have one opportunity to speak, must only speak directly to that specific case, and must only address the commission, not the petitioner or anyone else in attendance. After the public has had an opportunity to speak, commission members may again ask questions of the petitioner, and then the commission will consider a motion. Now that we've gone over those guidelines, I'll move forward with agenda item number 5, which is approval of the minutes of the meeting of September 7, 2022. Any discussion or comments on those?
I have 2 items.
Okay, Commissioner Meyer?
First one was SPR 2203-33180 Grossbeck Retail Center.
What page, please?
3. It's on page 3.
It's the paragraph, Chairman, it's the paragraph before motion by Farina. Says he would have to come back with those. He would need to show the parallel parking spots along, in the paper I have, it says the back of the building on his site plan. It's actually the front of the building. The 2 parallel parking spots were not shown on the front, not on the back. So that was the first item I noticed. And then the second item was on site plan review 22004, 15-mile industrial development. Let me see what page that is.
Well, it starts on page 5.
Okay, I don't have page numbers on mine, so,
Oh.
sorry. And then it's on, it says, Mr. Seco asked for clarification, that's the paragraph.
Yeah?
And it says they would then be required to have parking, and it was parking and utility agreements in place before final approval could be given for this development. Those are just the two comments that I have.
Okay, does everybody agree with those?
Yep.
Okay, we can get that changed. Any other comments? Does anybody want to make a motion with those changes?
I'll move to approve with the changes noted.
No support.
We got a motion by Commissioner Farina, supported by Commissioner Kyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Nope. Okay. So, let's move on. Okay, so we got new business is our first thing. First would be normally be public hearings, but we're going to skip that and go to Part B, site plan and other reviews. And we'll start with SP 22-06-34275 Utica Road, Juan Blanco's site plan. Is anybody here to representing them? Can you please come forward? And, yeah, anyone. I don't know, probably that one right there, as long as you speak right into the microphone. If you can give us your name, your connection to the request, and I'm going to start something new if anybody is opposed, but I'm going to say email, because we usually would get address, and I think a lot of people, we've talked about that not being, a lot of people not wanting to give their address out, and I think we've discussed that. So if you want to give your email, in case we have to get correspondence back to you for anything,
Sure.
let's do it that way.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Denny Bazanovsky. I am the owner of the site. My email address is Denny, D-E-N-I, @mfgmidwest.com.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Urbiel, if you can give us the background on this?
Sure. So this request is to redevelop the site, the former Warfield's Grill, and reuse the existing 7,800-foot building, restaurant building, for a new restaurant and a bar. What triggered the site plan requirement, or the reason that the applicant is here today, is because he's modifying the facade of the building a bit, but otherwise proposing to reuse the site as it is. The former use and the proposed use are consistent and supported by the zoning ordinance and the master plan. The applicant submitted the required information for site plan review. Based on the size of the building, 79 parking spaces are required, 79 parking spaces are shown on the site plan. We had a note in there about a handful of those spaces exist on the property adjacent to it. I was made aware that that's sort of a long-standing arrangement with this property and the property next to it. I don't know if there's any documentation of it, or if the applicant has any understanding of a shared parking agreement, but that was a note. The site is otherwise completely compliant with the zoning ordinance, with the exception of frontage trees on the Utica Road frontage. One other just thing to note is that there's signage that was shown in the conceptual elevations, just by, there's no dimensions there, and this is conceptual, and the signage would be subject to permit and administrative review of the building permit. Just a note that there's sort of too much signage based on ordinance standards here. But again, I don't think we're discussing that. I just wanted to note that was the case. I think it's the proposal is to modify the facade by opening up a little bit, adding some windows to the east and south elevation, adding garage doors to reuse the area where there is an existing patio, and in general, just sort of renovate the building. As I said, I think all the information that is required to review the site plan was included, so I think the commission is good to act on it. And subject to those couple notes, I think we recommend approving.
Okay. Does petitioner have anything he wishes to add?
Yes, my site engineer had put 79 spots, and he included 5 that were on, would you mind putting that up? Yeah, 5 in front of Ken's property in the golf course. That's right here. But we don't, these 5 that were here that he added, we don't need, we had 85 spots, and I was gonna have him send something over to you. We
Okay.
don't have 70, we have 85 just on a lot alone.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I guess I think we noted that too, that there's plenty of space for the extra
Right.
only on your lot. It
Just on
is-
our lot alone, without sharing any of his parking.
Fair enough.
You're going to,
Anything else you wish to add before we?
Mr. Farina had brought up that the headers were in, the steel headers, that I just wanted to make note that I had contracted utility service in Michigan. They do all my steel and concrete. It was for 10/29, but they put them in on 9/29. So
Jump the gun.
They jumped the
Usually you
gun a
have
little.
trouble getting people out.
100%, yeah, that was a mistake. I'll own up to it, though.
That's at your own risk anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Anything else?
No, I just, I have 7 bar restaurants currently up and running. I have a few more in the works. This will be our first Mexican concept, Juan Blanco's. The other restaurants are Johnny Black's Public House, the Sandbar, Harrison Township, the Lake House in downtown Lake Orion, and 5 other Johnny Black's Public House throughout Metro Detroit.
Good. Okay, I'll bring it back to the board. Does any commission members have any questions for either the petitioner or Mr. Erbil? I see Frank's. How about you? We start with you.
okay. The door that the glass roll up on the north side of the building, can you put that elevation up? South, east, north, right.
North. It
That's-
doesn't look like an
Is-
overhead door.
Is that an overhead door there?
On the north, yes, it is.
And what's the, since it doesn't go down to the floor, what is the use of that door?
Just open air.
That's going to let noise out into the, and across the street are neighbors. How do you plan on
Well,
getting?
most municipalities, we shut all the garage doors at 10 PM, which is typical for the,
Okay.
that's what we do at all the stores.
Because I know your other, I go to your other 2 Johnny Blacks, the one in Rochester's quiet, but the one on
Er,
Fabian is
Yeah,
very loud.
it's a very busy store, yeah.
Yeah, very loud. Okay, and the one on the other side, on the south elevation, does go down to the ground? Are you
Yes, the
gonna-
one that faces the golf course?
Right, is
Yes.
that a patio out there now?
There is,
It used to be.
yeah. There is
Gonna
going,
be- It's gonna be a patio still?
yes. Yes, it'll be on the south and the west elevation.
Okay, now, I see the hedge cut low.
On facing the golf course, yeah.
That If you put abrevieties out, it would cut the, deaden the sound. But if Paul says it's okay, it's okay. Because that does face the golf course, right?
That faces the golf course side, yeah.
Okay,
Ken's on board. I don't know if you guys know Ken Bennett. He's my neighbor. He's actually a good friend of mine.
yes, I know, Ken. He's been in front of us many times.
Sure. Interesting fellow.
That's why I don't think you'll have problems with people parking over there.
Yeah.
So you will be able to accommodate more because they'll still park over by his,
Sure. Well, his customers have been parking
by you.
by me since day one, and we don't mind.
I understand, but now it is, that used to be owned by Ken, okay?
Yeah.
And now that it's owned by 2 people. What if Ken sells that and the next guy isn't amenable? Should you get a parking agreement?
He doesn't want one. I've done it in the past with multiple neighbors. Ken doesn't want one. But I think the fact that, we have the adequate parking just on our lot alone,
Okay.
should suffice. I mean, even if he didn't, or the new guy, I mean, 85 spots is a lot of spots. I don't have that at any of my other stores.
Good with you, Clark?
I asked Paul a minute ago whether or not he had enough parking on his, to stand on its own, and he indicated yes, so.
Okay.
As long as there's sufficient parking on the site, I don't think we have to worry about the
Good.
shared parking.
Just to clarify, I think all we need is a drawing that identifies those
85,
85
yeah.
spaces
100%.
on the site, yeah.
Sure.
And we also need an addition to the drawing, don't we? Ms. Zarnicki?
Yes, well, I have several.
I'm sure that's coming,
Yes.
Commissioner Farina. One at a time.
I'm done.
You're done. I see, Clark, did you put light on?
He told us to all put our lights on.
Oh, no, that
He said
light.
microphones.
No, the microphones.
Microphone light.
Okay. Oh, so I guess that was Paul's too. All right, I see no other lights, but,
Yes. Well, I have more than just the bike rack. Whenever you're ready. Are you ready, Mr. Chair?
we're ready for you.
Well, because we have the outdoor seating, because it was existing before, we don't have to do a special land use? I'm just questioning, I don't know.
I believe the position that we've taken in the past, at least, is if the hours of operation of that patio and the conditions that were applicable to the previous one are going to be followed by the new person, that wouldn't be necessary because it essentially runs with the property. But if somebody's doing different hours, or the old one didn't have music and this one does have, or there's changed conditions, then I think you have to get a special.
Yeah, we could go with that and ask for more. That normally it would have been, if he would have left the restaurant alone on the outside and everything, it would have just been a change of occupancy.
right,
So it
yeah.
would have been certificate of compliance is what they called it here before. So, and he would be able to just go right in and get inspections for safety from the 5 inspections required. So now going this route with a facade, it's basically like a facade change. We're changing the appearance of it, so.
I'm fine with that. Well, Denny, I'm going to call you Denny by your first name. 'cause
Please.
Challenged by your last name. So
Yeah.
what would be the restaurant hours and outdoor? How do you propose you're going to use the outdoor?
Typically, we open at 11 for lunch,
Okay,
and all the stores close midnight, Friday, Saturday, depending. We used to be 2 a.m. every night, but after COVID, it just changed the hours completely. So we even close Friday, Saturday most of the time, typically at midnight as well. We just don't see the late night business as we did pre-COVID. So that would be the same for here, 11 to midnight.
okay.
But being Mexican, it's a new venture for us too. I mean, it might be 10 o'clock. I mean, if there's no business, you gotta close, right?
On the consumers, yes.
Sure.
Yes. Mr. Andrews, I know we're not concerned with shared parking, but should we have a cross-access easement, or is there one in place already?
Do you have the aerial to see where the approaches are?
Are you referring to this driveway?
Yeah, but if there's approaches off Utica that go from, that would be the only thing that would generate anything.
So we just go by the entrance then?
I guess, Commissioner Zarnicki, my thought was that it functions independently.
Okay.
Without
That's
dependence
fine.
on, yeah.
That's fine.
yeah.
The instances where we're worried the most about shared driveways and stuff is
Right.
where somebody depends on that other driveway or whatever to
Right.
to function.
Okay, so we're okay with that, right?
We are.
Okay. Denny, would you be opposed to adding a bike rack in the front of your restaurant?
We typically add them.
Okay.
Anyway,
We'll put it on the site plan.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, we will.
I believe I am done. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Nobody? Seeing nobody else? I think I was pretty satisfied with everything.
There is Paul noted that you have to put 6 trees in front of the property. Any problem with that?
No,
So you know everything that was presented to
Yeah.
us, and you're,
Mhm.
in agreement then.
No, yeah,
No
totally.
changes, because we'll make conditions based on that. It'll be what's there, and then whatever we talk about will be added.
Yeah,
If everything was okay, you were in agreement with everything then?
yeah.
What are you gonna do to that parking lot? Are you gonna restripe it, because the stripes are pretty much
Yeah,
non-existent?
we're gonna clean it up. It's gonna look nice when I'm done with it.
I've been to your other restaurants, you do a great job, and the food's great, you know, so.
Thank you.
They'll basically
Prices are high,
have to.
They're high all over. We get a lot of those, Joe Biden, I did that, stickers pointed to the prices on the menu.
So
That's everywhere now.
at least they're going to have to, no matter what, because their handicap spots have changed,
Yeah,
right? So-
yeah.
And we got no problem with that. I don't see anything else there. If everybody definitely is
Good.
in agreement, I'll go out to the public, and does anybody in the public have any comments? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask clarification? Does Mr. Commissioner Farina want to add the arborvitae's on the outdoor? Did you? No, okay, you're okay with that, okay,
If they're closing at 10, that's,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you. And Denny, do you own the public house there, the new one in Warren on,
The Ale and Eddie's?
yes,
That's Ale, yeah.
yes.
Yes, I do.
There you go, yeah,
I do,
very
yeah.
good,
Thank you,
very nice setup.
thank you.
Okay, seeing nobody else, open to any motions. You still have, Commissioner
move-
Farina.
I move to approve SP 22-06 at 34275 Utica, Juan Blanco's site plan with the following additions: that 6 trees will be added to the site plan, and that a bike rack will also be added to the site plan, and that the parking lot will be striped, and handicap spaces will be marked in accordance with
The state's handicap accessibility rules,
Requirements.
Okay,
sorry.
thank you.
Would we consider one more addition? For the applicant to submit a revised site plan that shows the actual parking.
Shows the actual.
Yeah, with the 85, not the 79, yeah, 100%.
So we have that with you're all set
Yes.
with that? And
Yes.
do we have support?
I'll support.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Farina, support Commissioner Kyle. All in agreement? Say aye.
Aye.
You should
You
take
need a roll call.
Take a roll call on this one. Go ahead. Lisa.
Commissioner Barr,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Farina,
Yes.
Commissioner Kyle,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Warnick.
Yes. Okay, so that motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We'll get,
Welcome to the neighborhood.
yes,
Thank you.
welcome. We're glad to have you.
Welcome.
Very glad to be
Looking
here.
forward to it.
Thank you.
Uh,
I have a,
Support?
if you need
I have a
any, but
copy.
We've got to get new ones anyway.
with the new revise of the 85 spots.
Yeah, and that's what, when you get them to Mr. Erbiel, I'll come in and stamp them and everything, so you don't have to wait around now for any.
Okay.
Because
So
we
then, Mr.
wait for
Erba,
that to stamp it.
I'll send you the revised first before, and then you can probably just let me know if you're okay with it, or if you want any minor changes on it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else?
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's time.
Welcome, Denny.
When are you
Good luck.
going to open?
Probably March, April time. Yeah.
Is it going to be real Mexican food?
I mean, I have all real Latin people in the kitchen, so.
So this is your first one of those?
There is, but my staff is, especially in the back of the house, it's extensive with Mexican, Salvadorian, Peruvians.
Wow.
So they've been bugging me for years, so.
So did you do it intentionally because El Charles is here and,
No, not really. No, I've been looking at
and
this for
Azteca?
years. No.
For 4 square miles, you'll be our third one, I think.
Yeah, but everybody loves Mexican, I think.
It's, yeah, I think you'll do great.
Thanks, guys.
All right, see you. Okay, I guess we go back up to the public hearings, but I still don't see anybody. Is anybody here for Galaxy Auto Detailing? Don't see anybody. And Same with RZ 22-01, 33071 Garfield, rezoning request. Nobody here for that either. Do we want to talk about any of this, or do we can't basically without them, right? Or,
I don't think you ought to be discussing it, because if you end up postponing, you're gonna have to go through that all over again anyway.
yeah. So, did you, Mr. Urbiel, did you have any?
You can delay it in the meeting to see if they show up in the next, half hour or whatever, and then if they don't, then post.
Okay, so we can officially do we need a motion to do that? Okay, does anybody want to make a motion for that?
I'll move to delay
To a time specific?
33071 rezoning request, and that the SLU 22-02 Galaxy Auto Detailing Special Land Use till the last thing on the agenda before we adjourn.
We already did that one.
No,
We moved that one down, right? Okay, so we do, okay.
Yeah, we just
Oh.
moved the other one up.
okay. So
I'll
we got
support it.
okay, motion, yes.
When we actually, if we end up postponing those items, it's important to say in the public meeting that those have been postponed to a specific date, and then that will prevent the planner from having to remail and renotice
So we can do that and not have to,
when we get to that point.
okay. So, yeah, at the end then, when we get to that time, we can make that
Right.
motion again.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks. So let's move on. I'm sure we'll have some other people more excited here because they can get out earlier. So we'll go to unfinished business, item number 7.1, SPR 22-04, 15-mile industrial development, site plan. And it looks like we have Mr. Seco here.
Yep. John Seco, 232 Lothrop, Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Okay. I was trying to change that up a little. You might have missed it.
Okay.
I was going with just you're representing, who you're representing,
Okay.
and an email.
Okay, John Seco, representing Allegra Development, and email is john@allegradevelopment.com.
Your,
And also representing Fairway Packing.
so basically your connection.
We're the property owner.
Okay. There we go. So, Mr. Urbiel, do you want to update us with anything?
Sure. So, as you recall, last month we discussed this application and worked through several things. The things that were discussed and I guess were outstanding before the commission might feel comfortable acting on it was an adjustment of the lot line in the rear of the building to accommodate the required setback, shared access agreements because there is a shared private drive with this proposed facility and the Carmela facility in the rear. Clarification about the parking requirements based on the employees in the building, a modification of the facade to align with ordinance requirements, clarification about site lighting, and a commitment to that the use will meet all the performance standards. The applicant has been diligently revising and sending the administration information. I have up here the revised site plan that the lot line revision is in process. The applicant has submitted draft shared access agreements that Mr. Andrews has reviewed and sent comments back. The applicant provided to me details about the number of employees and the parking is adequate on the entire site based on that. And importantly to me, the facade was revised to add masonry, as we discussed. You can see there's a base of masonry in front of the metal panels, or at the bottom of the 50-mile facing facade. So I think that front facade is improved. There is on this plan also that was not there last time a proposal to add a building in the side yard to house the refrigeration equipment, which I understand to be for ease of access to maintain the refrigeration equipment. There's no zoning concern with that. In the industrial district, accessory buildings are allowed to be in the side yard. And it's not drawn, the applicant indicated to us that it will be clad similarly to the main building with metal panels. I think all that being said, this revised site plan, in our opinion, is complete, and we would recommend approval of it. Conditioned only on, I think the only outstanding thing that we have is the letter about the performance standards.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Mr. Seco, do you have any to add to that? Anything else?
No, we tried to address all the comments and the concerns of the planning commission and of Mr. Urbil, the planner, and your city attorney. We provided there was an existing easement on the driveway for access to Carmela Foods. That went back to, I think 2007. We provided a cross-parking agreement that will be valid for the entire site, which should eliminate any concerns about parking, and that'll go with the property. We added the brick to the front facade. We tried to, I'm trying to think what else. And we adjusted the lot line so that it met the rear yard setback requirements.
What's the process with that, with adjusting the lot line?
I'll defer to Mr. Urbil. I know we have the legal description done. We have the drawings done. Last time we did this, there was an application at the city of Fraser. It's just a lot line adjustment, so
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Andrews.
I felt that was kind of in my bailiwick, so I contacted the city assessor, Deborah Kopp, about that, and I forwarded to her the copies of the drawings that he had prepared actually engineer prepared drawings that showed what the new descriptions were and what it would look like. And she said that as long as they got a request from him to adjust the property line, that she didn't see any issue with approving it. And she concurred with my belief that when you're adjusting a property line between a next-door neighbor property line, it's not even considered a land division or whatever. So I think it's a pretty simple process. She agreed with that. So I think that's well on its way.
Okay.
The other issue that I felt in my bailiwick was the cross-parking agreement. And his attorney, John Gaber, who I've worked on other projects with over the years, is a very good lawyer. That was forwarded to me. I anticipated it would be in pretty good shape because I've worked on other transactions with him that involve cross-access easements, and he knows what he's doing. And anyway, so I looked at that late this afternoon, sent him back some pretty minor comments that I think that he'll be fine with. And so I think that's all but done already as well, so.
Those need to be part of a motion to approve as that those do get finalized, or is it just an automatic thing?
You can, but I'm confident I'm confident it's gonna be done. I mean, the draft, the changes that I made were relatively minor ones.
Okay.
It was a
Anything
very
else you
good
want to add,
draft.
John?
No, the only reason why we added that other structure and just was because in talking to the refrigeration contractors, probably 90% of this building will be refrigerated. And with that amount of refrigeration equipment, you could put it up on the roof. The problem is when the servicemen come to work on that equipment, it puts a lot of wear and tear on the roof, and also it's hard to access. They climb ladders up to, it's 30 feet up in the air, versus it's like putting an air conditioner on your roof or on the side of your house. It's just so much easier to access it and, be able to service it on the ground. And if something should go bad, to replace it, it's on the ground versus on the roof. Just so serviceability, it just makes way more sense to put it on the ground.
Yeah, it does, especially no parking spaces are taken up with. it or
Nope.
anything. The only thing, my concern, the only thing would be that the fire department comments on it, maybe, to verify that it's not gonna be a problem for them fighting a fire or anything.
Oh,
So as long as they got the room to move around that, I'm sure it's not. How big
fire
is it?
hydrant right there, so.
How long is that?
It's like, I think we put down 50 feet, no, I'm sorry, 15 feet wide by approximately 100 and, I want to say maybe by 50 feet, 15 by 50 was kind of roughly what they thought it would be. It's just an equipment room.
Trying to think next door, is that all paved right to it?
No, that's, well, you can see the paving and the drawing there, but it's mostly just landscaping on the other side of that.
Yeah, I guess the only concern is that they're okay with it, or how they're gonna fight a fire and, or where. You haven't gotten any comments from them?
No, I mean, the building official confirmed that there's no building code
Yeah,
issue.
yeah. I think the only thing would have been if
Yeah.
they had any issues or suggestions maybe or so, but I don't see a problem with us at all.
Being an HVAC guy, I appreciate you putting it on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus the savings on that roof.
Well, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. Yep. I'm sure a lot of them wish they could have or would have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, like I said, it's the best comparison I can say is like your air conditioning unit at your home. It just, putting it on the roof or on the side yard, it's just so much easier to access it and maintain it and service it. And so why not?
Anytime you don't need the extra ladders.
Or any ladder.
Yeah, or any ladder. Okay, bring it back up to the board. Any,
One question, Mr.
Go
Chair.
ahead.
Thank you. So this would still be going through final site plan approval. Would it, the fire department, would they not look at the final site plan and check off on it? So it would be caught at that point
And the
anyways?
building permit drawing as well.
Right,
for
okay.
this. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
can always be a condition of the permit.
I have one
Commissioner Meyer.
The dumpster is on the adjacent property. Is that an issue?
They are planning on, no, it's not an issue because, number one, there's a cross-access agreement already in place, so they have.
Will that count,
They have
that's
access.
included in the cross-access?
But in addition to that, they're planning on putting and it's shown on the drawing right next to the overhead door, they're planning on putting a compactor, trash compactor in, just so that, I don't even honestly know that they'll ever even use it. I don't think they'll ever even put a dumpster in that spot, quite honestly. But it's a requirement, so that's why it's shown. I mean, if they ever moved out, I guess the next person might not use a compactor, but the compactors just work so much better, so.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if there actually gonna be a possibility of that happening, that they'll use that dumpster, then that ought to be included in that cross-access thing, because I haven't seen the cross-access one, but the parking one makes no mention of any dumpster.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It
that'd
wouldn't be a
good to
big
add it.
deal to add it into it, but I didn't know about that issue.
They honestly will never use that, so if we could take it out, I would almost say take it out at this point, but,
Well, it's a
Or we could-
requirement per our ordinance that there be a dumpster.
a dumpster,
Yeah.
does the compactor count as a dumpster?
Yeah, it's basically the same. They pick up the stuff from that then, right? Their trucks come in and pick up.
Yes.
Have you ever had anything like that, Mr. Urbio, where it took the place of a dumpster then? I don't think we've ever addressed it that way before.
I don't know that I have either, but I guess if they're, I would say that if the trash is being stored in that same location and it's properly enclosed, then
The good
That
thing,
would
it's not
serve the same function.
processing here. It's not a slaughterhouse, so we're not
No.
getting stuff going into a dumpster. This is all probably packaging stuff and things like that. That's,
I would say 95% would be like just cardboard
yeah,
and that kind of stuff.
probably gets recycled then too.
Right.
Yeah. So if that's okay. I guess we can always, I think we should make note of it, that if we're doing something, replacing something like that, that's in our ordinance, we just make note of it in, maybe in the motion. Anything else? Anything on this side?
Yeah. What about the soil erosion permit you were supposed to get from the engineer's letter to you?
Yes, we'll have to get a soil erosion permit. That's through Macomb County or through Fraser?
Home County.
Okay.
Macomb County.
Yeah.
Require
Used to be.
reciprocal cross-access agreement will be needed. Okay. Looks like you got everything covered.
And that'll be part of the permit process anyway.
Right.
Probably speaking closer. Anything else, Commissioner Farina?
Gonna be hunchbacked.
Anything else on me?
I'm all set.
Okay, everything looked good besides that to me too. So do we have, let's go first off out to the audience. Do we have any comments from the public? Seeing none, bring it back up and entertain a motion.
Nobody wants to make a motion, huh? I'll make a motion
Okay,
to approve site plan SPR 22-04 to 15-mile industrial development. The only thing is, I'm a little confused what you want me to do with the dumpster part, because he is gonna have a dumpster, it's just a different kind, so.
yeah, I'm sure then that's,
So then it's on the print is good.
yeah.
And he already has the other things listed in 1 and 2, so we should be all set on all of it.
No, you gotta put it in the motion.
Yep.
Those are,
Well, that's already done, though. They have the information already. So a motion to approve SBR 22-04 to 15-mile industrial development. That's it.
Without any, was there anything else we needed to add to that?
No, he's already got the other stuff.
We don't have a letter about, there's a clause in the ordinance about just a attestation that the proposed use will comply with the performance requirements.
The what?
The use will comply with the performance requirements for the industrial restricted district.
For some reason, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So,
I keep thinking this is amplifying me.
that's number 2, isn't it?
Number two,
The
yes.
applicant submit a signed certified statement by the owner of the property indicating compliance with all performance standards described in the Fraser zoning ordinance 32-144.
and the chair will support that.
And how about number 1 then? Since you listed number 2.
Let me back up.
That's already handled. Okay, in terms of the certificate of occupancy, the applicant record a shared access agreement, appropriate reciprocal easement for use, utilities, et cetera. Oh, I'm sorry, what? That either parcel is ever sold. Both parcels are able to function independently.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm done.
So the chair supports with those motions as we have, and I'm sure the minutes will reflect those motions and clarify it a little clearer,
Yeah.
especially if we missed it on the microphone there. All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Kyle, support by the chair. Any discussion on that? We can do a roll call on that one.
Commissioner Barr,
Yes.
Commissioner Zeng,
Yes.
Commissioner Farina,
Yes.
Commissioner Kyle,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes. Thank you. So that motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Seco, and we're looking forward to Fairway Packing coming into town.
Thank you, everybody. We look forward to another successful project in the city of Fraser. Thank you.
We'll get you the stamp drawings down the road. Mr. Irby will make contact with you when I stamp them and give them to you.
Sounds great. Thank you. Have a good evening.
See you.
Do you have a use for these? There you go.
Okay, still nobody else here, so we'll go to number 2, sub 01-19 Garfield Park sub parcels 1 through 10 site plan amendment. Mr. Erbil, you want to, probably in cooperation with Mr. Andrews?
Yes. So we had discussed this item. This is the Garfield Park subdivision. As you all recall, that the proposed amendment was to leave the property as it currently sits, which you can see on the image there, rather than building a house on a parcel ending 039. As Mr. Andrews had described previously, I think the administration feels like so the parcels are not combined. And that is not the ideal situation. We had spoken last time about the possibility that there was an unpermitted shed on the property. The code enforcement officer, and I went out there myself too, and I can verify that I think that was just it's if you're not looking at this image and looking at what's on the ground, it appears that way, but the structures that you see there are as you see in this aerial, and those structures are not on the property in question. They're on the neighboring property, which is owned by I believe the owners on Josephine to the south. So I did reach out to the owner of these two parcels, 038 and 039, just letting him know that we would be discussing this. As Mr. Andrews indicated, I think the administration's position is that the best thing to do would be to record the item that he had circulated to you, to prevent in the future anyone buying this parcel and being unaware that it's not buildable.
Mr. Chairman, whoops.
Hey, Mr. Andrews.
The property owner, Steve Marino, I think, was invited to participate in tonight's meeting. He's not shown up. I believe that I was hopeful that maybe he would show up and be encouraged to combine the lots, but since he hasn't shown up, I think we should take action to record that notice of non-buildable lot. He can solve that problem by combining them or extending the street and the utilities, which I don't think he'll probably do, but at least that way, some perspective, if he decided to sell off that extra parcel, at least somebody would not be misled or into thinking that that was a buildable lot as it is. I think we've accomplished our purpose. The other purpose we had was we were very much concerned about that site being an eyesore and having it not be taken care of, and then having it revert to the city if the city did abatement procedures to clean it up. But I think that problem is gone because, as I understand it, that property is very well kept up, right, currently. And I think that gentleman uses it as if it's his property, and it is his property, but even though they're not combined. So I think the likelihood of him letting that deteriorate in condition isn't very great.
Good. I'm in agreement with that. I think we should just make sure code enforcement stays on that one, just to make sure, because he is probably not aware that we were watching and thought that it had a shed on it, and that potential's still there for that to happen, even with this on the records. So I think that's the best thing to do. We're just basically covering the city.
I do think, though, there was some discussion between him and Mr. Mancini about his intention to put up either a shed or a play structure or something in the spring, and then he decided not to do it. So I think he is aware that there's a permit process and things like that. But
Was he talked to or just invited to come? Did he?
He was invited to come. He did not
Nobody
respond to the
actually made
invitation.
contact?
No,
Yeah.
no. And, you know, the contact information is valid because I think the code enforcement officer has spoken to him about a different issue. And I had some correspondence with him in the past about the fence he put up when he applied for that permit. So
Oh, good.
I'm confident he was aware.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this will be on the record anyway, and he's not going to be able to do anything else with it except,
Right.
you know, combine them.
We'll have the city manager sign it on behalf of the city and then
Okay.
get it recorded with the Macomb County Register of Deeds.
So he still has that chance if he wants to add something on, he can combine it, and as long as he's aware of that,
Yep.
comes forward for permit.
The BSNA record has a flashing
Good.
flag about both parcels that if there's ever a permit to build on 039, that,
That works then. It's a red flag, goes right across and beeps right at you when you go on it, so that'll cover it.
I think that the planning, I mean, there's still an open item with the planning commission on the site plan amendment thing, and I think that we ought to either vote to deny it or vote to determine that this, because the city isn't gonna proceed to enforce it, that they approve the amendment or whatever you wanna do, but I think we ought to get it off of the
I do too. I think we beat this, and it's really, it costs the city money to keep this going this way. So if we can prevent that,
And I think at this point, it's not very practical to go sue Mr. Mancini to enforce the site plan because it would be a costly process, and I'm not sure we'd end up any further ahead than where we're at
especially since he
now.
doesn't own it.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess we got out of it pretty much what we could, that without
We could,
being able to force it.
we could have done a lot worse than the way it turned out.
Yeah.
My problem has never been with the new buyer. My problem has always been with the builder. And he has cost the city a lot of money. Now, when they go in for a site plan, they have to put in a bond.
Deposit?
Has that bond been returned to him?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer to that either, but I can.
Well, I would like us to recoup some of our money for all the meetings he's caused us to have. And not, I mean,
This started years ago. But if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on this, didn't the floodplain change on that piece of property?
yes.
Since he bought it originally?
Oh, definitely, since he bought it.
So, and if I'm not mistaken, somebody also said because of the floodplain changed, it's not a buildable lot anyways.
No, you
No,
can
it's-
build
it's-
on the floodplain.
It's still
Buildable, it's how
buildable,
you
just,
build.
yeah, in a different.
It
manner.
wouldn't
It
be,
wouldn't be the same design houses that he has built on the other ones.
no, well, you have to elevate, no basement,
Right.
and a crawl space that's
So since he
got
bought
flood
the-
vents,
Right.
and it
Okay.
brings it up a lot higher. So it would be, in comparison, probably, it could be up to 4 feet higher than the other house, looking at the ground level. So, it all depends, so. But,
We need a motion to move forward to give it to the city manager? Or do we
to
just?
take,
No, I think that we can handle that administratively. I do encourage you to take some action on the site plan amendment, either to deny it or to determine that the city is satisfied that the objectives were accomplished and that they're going to approve the site plan amendment, whichever your pleasure. And I think you can make whatever motion you might include a provision to ask the administration to look into whether there are any deposits that are on file that could be used to defray the city's costs incurred in connection with this.
okay, we want to make a motion, then anybody want to proceed with that?
I can make an attempt.
Okay, Commissioner Zarnicki?
Okay. I move that site plan amendment request 01-19, subdivision, Max Mancini, Garfield Park, subparcels 1 through 10, proposed site plan amendment be denied with two conditions. Well, I guess it's just one condition, that the administration look into any deposits that might be connected with this sites and that might have been incurred with all the transactions that Mr. Mancini proposed and reimbursed the city.
Second.
You want it, we should add the notice of the non-buildable parcel.
I thought that was going to be administrative, but I'm more than happy to.
Is
add-
that, should we include that in a motion?
And I don't think it's required. I mean, I think you folks have discussed it and directed us to proceed, and
Okay.
I'm satisfied that's sufficient, because that really doesn't have to do with his site plan. It has more to do with what we're trying to do to make sure that that property doesn't get used in a way it shouldn't.
Right. It's an end result of
Yeah.
what we're doing. Okay, any discussion from any?
I want to know what we're denying, because I mean, 9 of the 10 homes were built, so
Right.
what are we exactly denying? Are we
Denying
just
his
kind of closing
request
it out?
to amend this site plan.
Okay. We're denying his request to revise it?
Seems contradictory.
Yeah, I don't understand. We have revised it. We're not making them build
It
it.
is a revision, I would think, by accepting what we're doing.
That piece of property is still a separate piece of property, right?
But if you deny it, then all the original requirements would have to go in.
Well, except for the fact that the city has to make a decision as to whether they are gonna proceed with enforcing it. And I think that, I mean, I know we have discussed it in our office, Don Donald and I have discussed it extensively and determined that the sensibility of proceeding with an enforcement action against Mr. Mancini at this time, under the circumstances we have, just doesn't make sense. I mean, we're not gonna prosecute him in district court. We're not gonna go to circuit court to enforce the site plan. We don't have an issue with the maintenance of that property, and even if we do, in the future, that's owned by Mr. Marino, and he's responsible for taking care of, making sure it's not a nuisance and so forth. And we have a property maintenance code that would be enforceable against him if we need, so, reason that you would consider denying it is the fact that Mr. Mancini at least didn't do the things that he was supposed to do as far as putting in those improvements. On the other side of the coin, if the planning commission feels that because it's not gonna be enforced against Mr. Mancini anymore, because he doesn't any longer own the property, he did convey it to the neighbor as we requested him to do. He tried to get the guy to combine the lots, but he wasn't able to get him to do it. Then you may determine that, you are gonna allow the amendment because
Clerk, if we approve the amendment, then the bond will, if there is a bond, it will be released to Mr. Mancini, right?
I don't I do not necessarily think that's
don't
true.
think so.
because
No, I
the City has incurred a lot of expenses
Right.
in connection with this, and, I mean, I would have to look at the ordinance and see, but, I mean, we've had multiple meetings and lots of discussion about it. Certainly, it
just-
would be appropriate to deny it if the plan.
I'm concerned with full closure of this. I think we need full closure because it keeps, something will happen and open another can of worms somewhere. I think the
we
best
need
way to do
vote on
full
it.
closure,
Absolutely, I agree with that.
and still make any extra revenue, that anything that is outstanding returns to the city. So, apparently Commissioner Farina doesn't agree that an approval of the revision would do that, but like you said, I'm in agreement with you that I think it wouldn't matter. You can still, if the funds are there, they can be released back to the city.
I would love to defend the action if he sues the city to get the money back, when in fact, he'd had all of these things done that
Yeah.
he didn't do. And, you know.
Yeah.
I
Plus
ta-
all the
I like our-
meetings.
I like our chances in that.
We've had meetings that, I mean, it costs a lot of money to run these meetings.
We've had a lot of meetings on that topic.
Planners, with attorneys,
No doubt about it.
and us in the time, so I'm in full agreement.
Probably cleaner to deny it, though.
Is it? So whatever, if you feel that that'll still be okay and not open up anything else, we want a
Don't
full
think it will.
closure, as long as we can get full closure of this.
That's fine. I would just think that we shouldn't leave it as an open item that hasn't been voted on.
Yes. Okay, so we have a motion. And is everybody in understanding of that motion then? No?
No, just summarize it real quick.
That,
I didn't hear.
We never have to hear about it
just,
again.
yeah, she wants just to summarize the motion again.
Oh, okay. Well, I will move to that site plan amendment request that was originally submitted on February 6, 2019 for 0119 subdivision, Max Mancini, Garfield Park, subparcels 1 through 10, proposed site plan amendment be denied, and that the administration track the costs incurred to the city for the transactions and meetings that the Planning Commission and the city has undertaken for Mr. Mancini, and any cost returned to the city, be reimbursed to the city.
Does that sound good? Okay, and we had a motion and seconded by Commissioner Farina.
Take a roll call.
Take a roll call.
Commissioner Barr,
Agree?
Commissioner Zarnicki,
Yes.
Commissioner Farina,
Yes.
Commissioner Kyle,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes. So that motion, is there a finality, it sounds like? I'm hoping so.
So we don't have to hear about this ever again, right?
I hope,
It's only done 3 years now, right?
at least.
All right, and that'll be taken care of, that notice of non-buildable parcel. And that's our big, I think that's the big thing we need out of this whole thing, is that happens. So, okay. Sounds good. We stalled as long as we can for whoever was supposed to be here. I don't see anybody. Do we have, yeah, well, we've got, yeah, I don't know.
Why are you here?
I am here in case there's any questions.
Okay, so we can,
I wanted to update the planning commission on what's transpired in connection with the Fraser Hockey Land parking.
would we put that under unfinished business? though?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
do that.
then why don't we, but we should have probably added that on the agenda then. So how can we do this?
I guess you could amend the agenda to include that additional item involving the Fraser Hockey Land Big Boy
Yeah,
shared parking issue. And if you want to do that, you can do that before you do those other two postponements or whatever your pleasure is.
yeah, there's still another item on there too.
Altina is here also to update you, and she can tell you what she has done, and I can
Okay.
concur that.
Let's make that number 4,
Yep.
and can we just call it discussion on Fraser Hockey Land outlot?
Make it 3.
Change it to 3 and,
Right.
but then you gotta change 3 to 4.
Right.
I mean, it's just formality, just leave it as number 4. And then we could take it out of order, that's not a big thing.
All right.
All right, so we need a motion to amend the agenda I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to include
Second.
discussion on Fraser Hockey Land outlot. And we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any denied? No. Seeing none. Agenda is amended, and we will place item number 4 out there right now.
Good
Welcome
evening.
back.
Good evening, everybody. Alton
right.
Yaki-Andreevis on behalf of Fraser Hockey Land as well as Big Boy as the attorney. And I am here this evening as my discussions with Mr. Andrews and Mr. Erbil. Mr. Commissioner Farina, I apologize. I was hoping the next time I would see you be at the grand opening, not this evening. But came here this evening to get a little clarification, if possible, on the outlet and the proposal that we've done in terms of the site plan for the new Big Boy location, hopefully, in front of the Fraser Hockey Land Arena, or the Big Boy Arena, as it's now called. Mr. Andrews and Mr. Erbil and I have discussed the shared parking agreements, and Mr. Andrews and I have gone through them, and they've been approved, and they are now being circulated for signature and execution by all of the third parties, with Meyer, with Total Soccer, and the Fraser Public School System. The manager at the arena, or I'm sure you all know him, Bud Kowalski, is taking care of the Fraser schools and the Total Soccer Arena, and those should be executed at some point this week. He's pretty confident that they'll be executed at some point this week. He's already made contact with both individuals, and through the help of Mr. Andrews, I have forwarded the agreement to Meyer to hopefully get their execution as soon as possible. The clarification that I was hoping to get, and in my discussion with Mr. Andrews, is we are at the point of the split being finalized on the property. The split, I'm not sure, I'm sure you all aware, but the split is very crucial in terms of moving forward on the building. We've done the foundation work, we've put up, to Commissioner Meyer's point of last commission meeting, or planning commission meeting, we did put up the fence within 2 days of the request to an additional cost, which was fine, we were happy to do it. And we've made a lot of progress on the site, but unfortunately we're at a standstill without this parcel split happening. The parcel split, given that parcel number, would allow us, one, to get utilities pulled to the site, which is very crucial because DTE has quite a backlog with all the storms that have happened and everything. They have their crews doing other things. And another part of that is also to get the building permit in place. We have an address, but not a parcel number, so they will not issue a building permit. So that is making it very difficult for us to move forward. Our materials are on site, everything is ready to go, and our contractors are getting ready. Mr. Andrews' point in protecting the city was to say that we could not get that parcel split approved until those agreements were actually executed. And my understanding from previous meetings and discussions was that we could move forward on the parcel split, and then the holdup was certificate of occupancy when all the agreements were signed at the last commission hearing where we amended the site plan conditions. So I am just here to hopefully get a little clarification and hopefully an answer. If we can move forward with the parcel split, with the agreements being approved between Mr. Andrews and myself and being circulated to get that in place so it can go to the county and get the parcel ID number, and so we can get our building permits and actually do our underground work.
Do we have that authority?
The authority to what, withhold the,
To basically, I mean, to make those
what?
changes that would help them?
I think if you were, I looked at the actual motion, and it does not say that the recorded documents, or executed and recorded documents have to be in hand before
Split.
before anything can go forward. You have already indicated that they could have foundation permits. And I'm pretty confident that this is gonna happen, and I think that the practical side of it is that those conditions related to the site plan amendment thing for Fraser Hockey Land, and they ought to have some incentive to make sure it happens, because they're not gonna have any extreme events if they don't
Right.
have the parking arrangements in place. And she has some incentive to make sure, because the city has said that you can't get a certificate of occupancy for your building after you get your restaurant building built unless you got those things done. So I'm pretty confident we got enough protections to make sure.
Oh, sounds like these will all be done way before,
I believe that's true. And I have had some dealings with some of the Meyer legal staff in the past because of the outlot across the street and ones in other communities. And yesterday I sent Lorraine Steigenga, who's the paralegal that is on their legal team, an email about about what's going on. And I got an email that said she was gonna be out of the office till today, and this morning, before I got to work, I had a response from her indicating that she was looking for an exhibit of where that parking was gonna go. And, but she didn't say anything like, we're against this or anything like that. So I think that that review is gonna be completed shortly, and I think it's gonna all work out.
okay, so I guess
As Mr. Andrews has indicated, it's on us. In essence, if we don't follow through and do these things, then we're out of luck and we just built a
Right.
multi-million-dollar property for
building
no
with
reason. So it's, the entire onus is on us to complete the project. But as everyone knows, it is October. And I know it's Commissioner Farina's point, he wants that parking lot done. And that parking lot is going to be difficult to complete if we can't do the underground work
Right.
because we have to lay the asphalt after, or the pavement materials. So we're kind of at a crunch at this point, and I was just hoping for some clarification or some, help on this.
I did not want to make that decision for the planning commission without having an opportunity to update you guys on where we are now and how close we are to the end of the goal line, and make sure that you guys are comfortable with it. I think that there's protections in place to protect the city. I think there's a lot of consequences if they don't do it, both to Fraser Hockey Land as well as to Big Boy. And the fact that they're already out for circulation as of last week or whatever makes me think we're there.
utilities are, you better get them when you can.
That's right,
We're so far behind. I'm dealing with consumers right now. Jeez.
Yeah.
right.
This is all on the shared parking agreements, which we've already seen them signed probably a year ago.
No, you saw one for the Lions Club, but
We had the Lions Club, we had one from the school, and we had one from Myers.
Those were letters, unfortunately. They were agreement letters, and now we have to put them in recordable format, so we have to go back to the well.
Clark Andrews, as a city attorney, is very intent on making sure that things are in the records, so that if properties transfer hands, that you got a binding on the next successor owner as well. A letter agreement that isn't recorded is worth nothing if that property transfers hands. Nothing.
Do we have any others from your firm willing to back you up? That's all. That's all I wanted to see.
You want to see if they're paying attention?
Don't
I
sign,
wanted to see, yeah.
don't sign their paycheck.
They're still awake.
so.
I have a couple questions, okay?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
All right. You said you can't get utilities without the split,
Correct.
all right? How are you going to get utilities if we say go forward?
Well, the parcel split is already prepared, and the assessor is waiting on Mr. Andrews' instructions that she can move forward with the split.
Okay,
Right, she is ready to approve it, but but as in the case across the street involving the Myers split across the street, she wanted to make sure that I was comfortable with where we were before she signed off on it. And I told her that I wanted to discuss with the planning commission the issue of the shared parking.
right now, everybody's talked to you. How do you feel about it, Paul?
I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Paul, how do you feel about it?
I'm sorry?
Paul.
Asking how I feel about it.
Paul.
Oh,
I'm also comfortable with it on Mr. Andrews' recommendation.
Blame me if it goes sour.
Blame you, we're gonna take your grandkids.
I think it is true that that there are several incentives for these things to be executed, and at the applicant's request and upon our recommendation, the planning commission modified the one condition about granting permits until and modified it to the certificate of occupancy. So I think, you know,
Got
as
a hammer over their heads.
Would it be appropriate to ask for an additional bond until it happens?
I'm not sure how, what a bond, I mean, if the Fraser Public Schools were to say, we are not gonna do it, there's nothing that a bond, I mean, bond usually provides money to somebody to be able to do something, but
So we'd have to pay.
that really doesn't work in this kind of a situation, so I
Okay.
That's more.
appreciate the effort, but I don't think it works.
But if Fraser Public Schools now says that we're not gonna do it, what is our recourse then? To let him go
Well,
ahead and
I think what happens is two things. Number one, Fraser Hockey Land doesn't get any extreme events unless they go find another location for shared overflow parking, and she doesn't get a certificate of occupancy for her building until that same thing happens. So if
Pretty powerful.
Fraser Hockey Land, I mean, if Fraser Public Schools doesn't come through, then they're gonna be scrambling to find some alternatives. I mean,
If you're happy, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
All right, do we have a motion on Mr. Andrews?
Coming to your house if it doesn't.
Mr. Andrews, I will invite you over for dinner, and you are more than welcome to come at
Don't have to
Christmas.
do that, but I want to tell you, I do not want my grandchildren taken. Because Fraser Hockey Land and Big Boy didn't get their shared parking agreements.
If these agreements don't happen, I think my children will be taken, so it's okay.
So we're gonna have a lot of homeless kids.
Yeah, I'm not losing my kids either.
All right? We don't need a motion on this.
No,
All right.
So we're good?
enough discussion there. I think
Yeah,
we're good.
so we'll just proceed as Mr. Andrews directs you.
Perfect, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And next time I see you,
Yeah,
will be the
is it-
grand opening.
We will pull, let's pull the board and do a roll call if everybody's in agreement to trust Mr. Andrews.
If you all say no, then you're in trouble.
And then it's a whole different,
So am I.
yeah, me too, I know.
Commissioner Barr,
Yes.
Commissioner Sarnecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Farina,
Yes.
Commissioner Kyle,
Yes.
Commissioner Meyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. Hopefully that helps.
It does a lot.
I
Thank you.
do want an invite to that grand opening.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, ripping, cutting the whole nine.
But she's got to skate there too, right?
You have skates.
All right.
Thanks.
Been there for 13 years. You're welcome. Take lessons.
Do you want to do this thing of transparency?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to unfinished business. We have one more item that doesn't include anybody missing, and that would be the transparency zoning amendments discussion. So, Mr. Erbiel, if you'll give us,
Thank you, and I'll make it brief, but when we were discussing the outdoor patio at Shooters and their replacement, or their boarding up of windows, Commissioner Zarnecki pointed out that there is not a standard controlling commercial transparency in the Fraser zoning ordinance, and asked us to just sort of give some context. I think that was the request. What I provided in your packets is a memo, just sort of some case study information about how other cities regulate building transparency in commercial properties. It's a frequent thing that is regulated, and there are a lot of good reasons to do so. So you don't get blank walls on commercial property. You get better design, you get more friendly and humane buildings. there's a wide variety of how this matter is regulated. It's frequently, I think you'll see that from our research, that either all commercial properties have a certain transparency requirement in some vague way, or in the central business district, there are very specific design guidelines and requirements for that. I present all this to respond to the request for your consideration, for your context. The zoning ordinance is due for many updates, not least importantly, to respond to the master plan that you worked on and passed a year or so ago. And so I think this would, this would be added to, if it's your desire, it would be added to the list of zoning ordinance amendments that we would be considering. I've had conversations with City Manager Levin about the zoning ordinance and about whether we do updates in chunks, or if we, or in pieces, or if there's an overhaul in the offing. So I think how that gets implemented is still to be decided, but this is just for your discussion. I'm happy to answer any questions about it, and I think it's something to add to the list to continue to discuss. I also had a conversation with Chair Warnick about, and he suggested that other planning commissioners might have similar questions or similar issues that the administration can start tracking, can start researching and preparing, at least having dialogue with you, especially when agendas are lighter, about what we might do to improve the ordinance and improve things going forward.
Yes, so that's, what we talked about was maybe getting a wish list, everybody put together, maybe keep a sheet in your paperwork, and as soon as, if you come up with anything, add it to it. We can discuss it at meetings, and get an agreement to put that as another item on our list, so that we get a full list together, so we're not thinking we're going to remember all these things when the time does come, because it's definitely in the future coming. We need to update our ordinances. And there's a lot of things that, times are different, and we need to address a lot of things. So I think it's something we start doing right now. So we got homework now. Sorry.
Oh, I have a question. This transparency about the windows and that,
I lost my paper clip.
like the building we just did on 15 Mile Road, that would not meet this requirement, correct?
It would meet some of these requirements. I think it will when this renovation is done. A lot of places require that a certain amount of the first, like the human scale from 2
Right.
feet to 8 feet or so, that at least 60 or 70% of that is glass.
And I read all that.
Yeah. And so I guess I didn't do the math. That front facade would be close. It's a lot of these requirements, I think, are more appropriate or more relevant in a central business district when you're physically walking on the sidewalk immediately adjacent
The
to
use
it.
of the building, too, makes a big difference. Like, that's a refrigeration place, and there's no way you're going to put windows in
Well,
there.
that's where,
I'm sorry, were you talking about the restaurant or the?
Oh, no, I'm talking about, he was talking about the industrial,
Oh,
the fairway packing.
I apologize. Then no, it would not meet those requirements. But I guess if you're just taking lessons from these other municipalities, they don't regulate industrial property in the same way.
Okay.
The office function has the requirements of commercial, and in this case it would, because the office portion of the industrial building is mostly glass.
I like that personally. I mean, I've worked in the Detroit Arsenal where there wasn't a window in the place. And you didn't, when you went in and came out, it could have a foot of snow and you didn't know it because there were no windows, you know.
I think that was generated with shooters, though, that closing the window in or fixing the window. And it makes a difference along, just with the architectural look, too.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's different things to look at,
It's a
so.
draw to get people inside and
Yeah.
consume what's offered to them.
Okay.
So any other discussion on that?
We have
I think it's homework thing, you know, it's one of those, one item that we're just gonna have to keep doing. We don't have the power to just add it right away and say that's gonna be in the ordinance. So it's all gonna have public hearing and everything.
Oh, you told us you were looking at the sign ordinance. Are we ever going to get,
I told you he was gonna say that, didn't I?
like a dog with a bone, isn't it?
I stand ready to update the sign ordinance, but I just think that, I think given transition administrations, including my own transition into this chair, there have just been other things that have taken precedence, but
Okay.
I think in any discussion, and I've expressed this too, I think the sign ordinance is, if there's anything that goes first, it's the sign ordinance, because large chunks of the sign ordinance are no longer enforceable based on recent court decisions. So.
Mr. Urbio, would you share with us how a zoning ordinance amendment, the process of it?
Yes. If it's administratively produced, we would produce a memo like this, but more specifically identifying, at your instruction, we would prepare something identifying what is to be amended. You would discuss it, you would have a public hearing about it. Once you're satisfied with it, and you've heard from the public about any potential modifications, once you're satisfied, we would recommend it to city council. And
Okay.
city council
So city council final
would
say.
amend the ordinance, yes.
And when that notice is,
And
you
during-
actually put that ordinance in the paper.
Right.
And during that process, we would prepare the city attorney's office would prepare a legal ordinance amendment that would
The
go to
actual
city
text.
council, and the city council would, I believe, introduce it at one meeting and adopt it at the next meeting. Typically.
Sarah Traxler and Don, or maybe it was you, Clark, had worked out like administratively the workflow for those amendments. We just haven't exercised that yet.
Okay.
I think Mr. Plazinski helped us with that.
Okay, maybe it was.
Okay. So we're good with that? We don't need any motion to accept anything, right? That's just info. So, comes down, we can't stall anymore, and we're going to need a motion to postpone 2 items. Do we take those individually then? Probably, so. We start with SLU 22-02, Galaxy Auto Detailing, 16659 Garfield, special land use. Do we want to make a motion to postpone that?
I move to postpone SLU 22-02 Galaxy Auto Detailing, 16659 Garfield, special land use.
I'll second.
Do we need to, date certain we did, right?
Nope,
So-
he said the next date is November 2nd.
November 2.
Okay. And for the reason that nobody showed up, right? So do we need a reason, or we just do it?
Well, I think that the planning commission thinks the petitioner should be present at the
Yeah.
time that we discuss and take action on it.
Okay. Motion, did we have support?
Yep.
And support. Motion by Commissioner Farina, supported by who wants it? Commissioner Zarnecki. And we'll give the next one to Kenny.
What if I make the motion?
If you do. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? No nays. That motion goes forward then to the next meeting. So we'll go to site plan, site plan, other reviews. RZ 22-01337071 Garfield for a rezoning request. Same, do we have any motion for that?
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
For the exact same?
I'll make a motion to postpone talking about RZ 22-01337071 Garfield rezoning request because the petitioner is not here. Is that good?
Yeah. You agree with it?
The November 2nd meeting, you said?
Yes.
November 2nd meeting.
Now, they'll automatically means we got a meeting, right? Okay.
And there will be a mailing to the applicants who are not here, but there will not be a remailing to everybody within 300 feet, because if they were interested in that item and showed up tonight, they would know that it was postponed to that
Since
date.
we have nobody that showed up, then we're okay doing that.
Right, you are.
So we won't be, something happen later. Otherwise, I would think we have to charge them again to do the noticing. So we're okay with this.
I'm okay with that. We've done
Right.
that for years.
So let's move forward with that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Oops, seconded, Commissioner Farina, sorry. And I think that was the first motion
It was ever,
ever
for me.
from Commissioner Perry.
We got a cocktail.
To anyone that may be interested in either one of those two cases, there will be no remailing to people within 300 feet. So this is your notice, November 2nd,
That's, okay, so that's part of
7
the,
PM.
part of the meeting. That's been stated, and it's public record. Okay. So I think we're okay with that now, so we'll go to item number 8, public communications on non-agenda items. Before we do that, Mr. Farina?
Well, that is what I want to talk about. I will not be at the next meeting. I've notified Paul and I've notified the city.
Oh, that'd be commissioners' comments. This is for the public.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So anybody in the public? Nobody?
I knew that.
Seeing nobody, we'll continue with item number 9, Zoning Board of Appeals Member Liaison Report.
Well, I am happy to report there will be a meeting tomorrow night, but there hasn't been a meeting. I am sad to report that I will not be at that meeting tomorrow night, but I will have a report for you at the next meeting.
All right.
So,
In that meeting?
which I will not be at in November.
Oh, geez.
So,
So we won't have a report. You're going to have to do it for us. Put it
You put the report in writing?
put it in writing and,
We have time?
I will be at tomorrow's meeting and November planning commission meeting,
oh,
so.
so we can
Thank
use
you.
you as the liaison. You'll be a temporary liaison. Okay.
The appeals that are at,
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
What's the appeals for
it-
tomorrow?
it's the cases that were here last time. The 34,400 Klein is asking for a variance for their gravel storage, and
And the parking.
the gross spec, not the parking. They submitted a revised
Oh, really?
site plan.
Right.
When we discussed that afterwards, he said they were doing that because they don't have the space now, but in theory, if they have their driveway approved,
Open up,
yeah.
okay.
So he submitted just today a revised site plan that removes those parking spaces,
Okay.
because he understood that would be another variance.
We'll have that at the next meeting.
Yes. Well, I guess depending on what happens tomorrow, yes, that
Yeah.
theoretically, you postpone that matter to the next meeting.
And then
Yep.
what's
The other one is, I'm blanking on the address on Groesbeck, but the property just north of the Dairy Queen.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the masonry wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Masonry wall, yeah.
So what's the variance? What are they seeking?
A variance from the prohibition of putting
The 6
fences in front of the building line.
8 foot is what the variance is for? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's a variance to do it, period, because
Yeah, it's-
the ordinance just prohibits
Yeah.
it existing at all, yeah.
Okay. All right. That covers our liaison report. Commissioners' comments and items of interest or concern. We will start with Commissioner Barr.
I have nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight. Commissioner Zarnicki?
I have nothing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Farina?
The Knights of Columbus are having a fish fry every 2 weeks, and it'll be one Friday night. This week, it's all hand-battered, hand-fried fish. It's very good. And we're using it as a way to get people back into the council. It's John F. Kennedy, 5460 on Kelly Road, and,
It's north of 14.
right, it's good food and it's cheap drinks.
Is that it?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Kyle?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Meyer?
Nothing Nothing at this time.
Nothing, Commissioner Perry?
Nothing right now.
Wow. All right, and the chair has nothing either. So, I guess I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Go, Denny.
No, he already did. He beat me to it.
You can second it.
I'll second it, but
All right, so we have motion for adjournment, Commissioner Kyle, and support by Commissioner Perry, and the meeting is closed at 8.
To vote.
Got to take a vote.
Oh, we have to, yeah, to take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nothing there. So that carries, and meeting is adjourned at 8:37.
Two attorneys out there.
They want to stay. All right.
One Sean, man.
Everybody have a good night.